At the height of the civil rights movement, Jonah Gaze Cooney and Lloyd Morissette had a simple but revolutionary idea. Television could help prepare disadvantaged children for school. Why preserving Sesame Street is important. I am a credible source on this topic because I am currently in the process of becoming a history teacher, and I have often had jobs with working with children. As someone who is human, you should care about the social issue because representation in the media is an integral part of child development, as well as fighting illiteracy and other educational challenges for inner city kids. I will detail how Sesame Street was caused by challenges with education towards preschoolers in inner cities due to poor infrastructure and the need to fix this through accessible, cheap, and public television networks, and how this became an extremely successful tool in educating children. Sesame Street came out during a time when education for young children was at an all-time threat. During the 1970s, poverty, racism, and drug abuse were stifling inner cities and the U.S. as a whole. This was a huge threat to early preschoolers and elementary school children. Due to rising crime rates, insufficient funds for daycares, and overworked parents, it was not safe to send your children to preschool or let them walk to elementary schools. Sesame Street was able to overcome this issue because it was a safe way to prepare children for school from the safety of their homes. Sesame Street, being a safe, informative, accessible, and credible television show, is what led it to its success. Sesame Street allowed for millions of preschool-age children to learn their cognitive and logistical skills. Sesame Street, being a television show, was able to bypass the issues of poor infrastructure, underfunded education programs, and neighborhood safety concerns by being accessible to anyone that had a television. But one of the most important aspects of Sesame Street was its backdrop and characters. Sesame Street's inclusivity is what really sets it apart from other children's educational shows. When a child is able to identify, recognize a set, and have a sense of familiarity with the characters, learning becomes easy. Sesame Street had an extremely diverse cast, especially for the 1970s. It shows men and women of color being business owners, teachers, and doctors. It shows children of different races playing and laughing together. And for the main cast, they're puppets. Children can imagine them to be whoever they want. While most kids' shows from this era were set in suburbs or some kind of fantasy land, Sesame Street was set in a New York City-style Bronx neighborhood. It's not super clean, it's busy, cut scenes show children playing in city parks and playgrounds, in the water coming out of fire hydrants. One of the main settings is a bodega. It's imperfect, but it's realistic. This is all extremely important for young children's developmental skills. Given this, we must protect shows like Sesame Street to provide children with effective means for education and inclusivity for all. In conclusion, Sesame Street has become synonymous with early childhood education because it's able to provide a safe way for children to learn developmental skills and provides them with a realistic and comfortable setting and an inclusive space for them to make learning easier. So let's make it so children 123 years from now know how to get to Sesame Street. Thank you very much.